Welcome back to our next exciting episode of Uncivil Discourse, hosted by Lee,
Hi, everybody.
myself, and our guest commentator this year, Laura.
Hey!
Well, everybody, we are fast approaching the end of this season. We're more than halfway through. We're going on to week 7, so it's been pretty exciting so far.
Yeah, I can't believe we only have 3 games left of the regular season.
Only 2 weeks left of spending as well. Brett is going to be very happy about that.
Hooray! We're almost done with the skill spins. Almost. This will take us into skill spins. Wendigo's Night Stalkers and Laser Force both bank.
Thumper's Revenge Longbow takes Veteran to get Personal Vendetta.
The Black Wake, their Thug, takes Gunnery.
Collection Agency, the Battlemaster, picks up Prototype Probe for that extra range on the Beagle.
Lights Out, bank this week.
The Neutro Reavers, the Orion, takes Anticipation, and their Elementals stuff an extra couple of missiles in for Cram.
Outlaws, Angar's Outlaws, Jupiter, takes Steady Hand for those 4 Ultra AC 5s it's got.
Ward's Werewolves, they also bank. And Ghost Legion, their Charger, takes Veteran to get Berserker Rage.
The Blitzkrieg Jezebels, they bank this week, as do the Odin's Chosen.
The Wolfpack's Night Star picks up Danger Zone.
Warthog's Revenge, their Enforcer, takes Steady Hand.
Paxton's Pathfinder's bank, I know they've got some big spends coming up, and Clan Cobra Chicken, their Black Knight, takes Gunnery.
House Psychotic Weasel banks, and the First Alliance Grenadiers Blackhawk Coup picks up Gunnery.
The Lyran Rangers and Hank's Handies both bank.
The Red Suns Irregulars, their Mauler, which they kept after deciding not to chassis upgrade or reassign, they take Gunnery to try to improve their odds to hit.
Ice Creamers Wolverine uses the Veteran skill to pick up Field Tests for those special SRMs.
The Elk Riders, their Catapult takes Veteran to get Black Market and get some case too. Their Blackjack then takes Anticipation.
The Dead's Man's Hand, the Marauder 2, takes Personal Vendetta.
And still can't kill anything.
We'll see. It's been actually underperforming this year.
The 4th Torian Protectorate, the Awesome, grabs Edge and Failsafe.
That's brilliant.
Edge and Failsafe.
That is brilliant. When you roll that Snake Eyes, you can go, nope, I didn't.
The Scions of Amaris, their Yu Hang, takes Gunnery.
The Steel Shod Shambles and the League of Robots both bank their points.
Riston's Rogues Marauder picks up Gunnery, as does their Grasshopper.
Cat's Nightingale Cavalry, the Fenris, gets Hyperactive.
The Neon Grizzlies and the Yogis Jaegers finish off the week with banking points.
All right, so this week had a total of, it looks like, 14 people banking, which is a crazy amount. Of that, I'm not sure how many people were intentional, how many missed their skill spends, missed cutoff. The thing that sticks out the most to me so far is we had 2 players that used faction tech on their mechs early on. Cat's Nightingale Cavalry on the Fenris, and the Red Suns Irregular on their Mauler, that were both contemplating swapping it out, but because you lose those initial skill spends, they ended up just putting other gunnery type skills on it. I'm really glad to see that they decided to go that way, and are just going to stick out the rest of the season with those existing mechs.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with the mechs. I just don't think they're doing what they thought it was going to do. And it's just a matter of finding that spot where it fits in your lance and making it work. And gunnery skills will definitely help.
I mean, it's a Mauler. It doesn't do anything impressive, but it does lots of consistent little things.
Yeah, and his loadout, a couple of snub-nosed PPCs, a couple of MML 5s. I think it still has the autocannon 2s. It's not weak. It's just not doing what he thought it would do for him. And
it ain't a Mascari.
Yeah, and a Mauler won't. That's not what it's there for.
But it's pretty.
Yeah, it's a good mech.
And he's got the Kickstarter model for it, so it's in a very pretty miniature.
Just don't kick it in the nards because that'll blow its head off.
Maybe now he'll actually get his lance painted. Moving on, let's take a look at the matches from last week. Game number 1, we had the Neon Grizzlies versus Thumper's Revenge battle it out in Arena 14, the Desert Oasis. We see a Crusader field goal as they kick an elemental, but the Timberwolf with its tandem charge missiles proves to be too much for the Bunnies, and the Bears dine tonight with a 3-0 victory.
Game number 2, we have the Ansgar's Outlaws up against the Clan Cobra Chicken on the Grasslands Arena. Not a good place to be a chicken, as the Outlaws have some barbecue tonight with a 4-1 flash finish.
Game number 3, Odin's Chosen going up against the Blitzkrieg Jezebels in Arena 9 has some explosive action today. The Chosen Marauder falls over so many times it ends up killing itself, and the Warhammer got taken out with 3 headshots in a single round. 2-0, Blitzkrieg victory.
Game number 4, the Elk Rider versus Yogi's Jaegers. Playing chicken, these teams declined their regular map and instead battle it out on the default arena to a 1-1 tie.
Game number 5, we have the Cats Nightingale Cavalry up against the Lyran Rangers. The forward base has these teams fighting it out for supremacy. The poor Highlander had a really bad day today, with multiple ammo explosions and the pilot thankfully unconscious when the mech finally crumbles down around him. It's a 2-1 Nightingale victory.
Game number 6, the 4th Taurian Protectorate versus the League of Robots. More fun had in one of our Grasslands arenas. These teams scrap for a win. The League of Robots eke out a victory today with a 2-1 finish.
Game number 7, Lights Out versus the Black Wake, Comstar Civil War today. Both of these teams rock and roll in the foothills, but when the lights go out, they take away a victory of 3-0. Good job, Paul, and the Lights Out.
Game number 8, the Wolf Pack up against Laser Force. Speaking of hills, the Unending Hills hosts this brutal smash and bash. We see a total of 5 mech carcasses on the field at the end of the day. 3-2 Laser Force finale.
Game number 9, the Ice Creamers go up against the Psychotic Weasels. Not much is known about this game. It was played off-site and ended with a 2-2 tie.
From what I've heard, it was pretty brutal. I saw some pictures sent my way. Mechs were laying down on the ground, legs got floating critted off. In the end, it was just a kind of mechs laying on the ground slapping at each other to finish things off. And from what I heard, the Ice Creamers almost lost, and in the last turn were able to turn it into a tie.
Game number 10, Ghost Legion versus the Collection Agency. Yep, by a win for the Ghost Legion, nothing to see here.
Yeah. Jerk. Don't tell us about that beforehand.
You knew since preseason.
I don't know anything from week to week.
I'm sorry you can't read.
Oh, I can read. It's the memory that's the problem.
Yeah, didn't you know he had a birthday this week? He's older now.
Yeah, I'm getting closer and closer to 50. Yay! Game number 11, we have the Warthog's Revenge. They're taking on the Red Suns Irregulars. As the sun rises over the large lakes, the Red Suns have some success. Only 2 mechs came out swinging, at least by the stat cards we see. 12 different headshots, but not a single head kill. The Marauder 2 of the Red Suns claims all 4 kills, and the Warthog's Enforcers kills 3, but it's a costly 4-3 victory for the RSI today.
Game number 12, Paxton's Pathfinders go up against the Scions of Amaris. Apparently, the Outlaws Ranch isn't just good to outlaws. The Scions have a pretty good day, only missing 3 pilot checks all match, and have the Cataphract in a near-dead pilot, 5 hits, and still alive at the end of the day. The Scions fired its Cataphract's AMS like a machine gun. Was the only thing that hit. Floating crit popped the arm off the gunslinger. The Pathfinders lose all 4 mechs in a 4-0 shutout.
Game number 13, the First Alliance Grenadiers versus Hank's Handies. The Mountain Lakes Arena has another excessively violent match. The Grenadiers come out swinging, taking out 2 handy mechs in turn 7, as both the Thunderbolt and Wolverine drop. However, the gunslinger, who's been impotent up until this point, decides to put down the beer and finish the day strong, claiming all 4 kills in a 4-3 comeback story. This is a happy ending for all of the handies after all.
Game number 14, we have the Dead Man's Hands up against the Ward's Werewolves. Arena 12, the Rolling Hills host this battle with a 3-2 Dead Man victory. And it was a very close game. The last round of fire could have easily been a tie. Todd said at the end of the game that he probably should have fired at my Hatchet Man instead of the Banshee. But all in all, great game. Thanks, Todd. Look forward to seeing you again later in the season or next season.
Game number 15, Ariston's Rogues and the Wendigos Night Stalkers. The Caustic Valley Arena lets these two teams have a pretty good day ripping around and into each other. The Rogues Marauder 2 is the MVP, taking all 4 limbs off the Marshal, the head off the Thug, and the Xanthos for a 4-1 Rogues win.
Game number 16, the Neutral Reavers versus the Steel Shod Shamble. Hoping the Caustic Valley will be as good for the St. Ives as it was the last time some clanners showed up during the invasion, the Steel Shod Shamble have their visions of grandeur vanish. This game is hard fought but ends in a 4-2 Neutral Reavers win. It could have been worse, however. The Tomahawk decided to fall over and critically hit all but one slot in the head, taking itself out.
So that's all of our games from last week. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Some of them, couple of them, pretty ugly. But the community's awesome. Thank you everybody for staying positive. I don't see a lot of people, flipping tables, but that's a Monopoly thing, right, Lee?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No Monopoly.
No Monopoly.
I've only seen one table flipped, and it was at the box.
Mm-hmm. And the only dice hitting the floors are the ones that can't stay in our hands when we're shaking so many of them.
Hey, I launched one set of dice off the mezzanine at the box. And one mech. But
Yeah.
that actually was an accident.
But it's a great atmosphere. Everybody's happy, even at the end of the games when they've lost a hard match. They're talking about the cool things that happen, not the loss itself. So everybody keep staying positive.
This week we have a fantastic interview. Heather sits down with Darren from Hank's Handies, who joins us from last season.
Welcome back to another Battle Babes interview. This is Battle Babe 1 here, and I have Darren. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Finally over this cold that I've been fighting for 2 weeks, and actually felt productive today.
Nice.
Yeah. Normally not been very productive, but yeah, it was a good day today. Of course, had to go finally get the kids some winter boots because, well, you know that time's coming around.
Yep. I mean, I don't have to worry about the kids, but yes.
When it snowed a couple weeks ago, we did not have boots, so we're like, considering it's supposed to snow today, let's go get boots.
I'm a little spoiled having lived in Vancouver there because it's like basically just.
Yeah, you guys had to deal with the rain, which really, I'd take over the snow any day.
Oh yeah, I don't mind rain so much.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. No. Anyways, as we digress. How was your game on last Sunday?
Oh, that was against Andre, and he was the top champ there for a bit, and it was rough. I gotta say, it was 100% rough. It came down to the wire. I think the only reason I won, to be honest, is because his Fafnir ran out of ammo.
Oh.
After he finished pounding the crud out of me, he just had no ammo left.
So, how many rounds did you guys make if you ran out of ammo?
26 or something like that.
Oh my god, you guys are disgusting.
Well, it elevated quick, right? Because he managed to take out like 2 of my mechs like by round 6. It reminded me of when I fought JP, and JP just annihilated half my lands by round 4.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh god, I mean, I'm probably cooked. I mean, I've only got like 2 mechs left. But then it just, by luck, my mechs are pretty resilient. Unless I'm getting head capped or something like that, they do pretty well.
Yeah, and really, what are you going to do for a head cap? I don't think there's any mechs out there that, especially if you take 15 points.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It was just kind of a lot of luck. It worked out.
It's a game of luck. You have strategy,
Yep.
But really, Down to luck.
Oh, yeah. And after that, it's like kind of a luck reversal. I was winning initiative a little bit more, and then he failed a lot of pilot checks, and that really kind of hurt him. Yeah, 'cause it gave me advantages, right? So.
Yeah, those PSRs can be, if you mess them up, you become a decent fish out of water.
He's a tough contender, I'll definitely say. His wall of pulse lasers was quite rough to deal with.
Pulse lasers, I love pulse lasers.
Yeah. You can see like that in like fighting JB, right, with all his crazy pulse lasers.
Oh gosh, yes, his crazy pulse lasers. It is good that we have that cap. You can't have more than 50% of your lands or something, which is good, because I hate laser boats on the best of days, and pulse laser boats would suck.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, it was a very close match.
But good match. So you came out on top.
Oh, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Was there any funny or interesting shenanigans in your game?
Just surviving his crazy factor. Well, I mean, the funniest thing is the thing ran out of ammo, right? And then all it's got left is like 2 medium lasers. So it's like. It's like stumbling back to the battlefield to start shooting me medium lasers. Then I think he like fell on his face. Kind of a bit funny.
Well, yeah. Your medium lasers, you're so scary, and then you can't get to me. Okay, that works too.
Yeah. So yeah, it was all right.
That's good. Battletech, like how long have you been playing Battletech?
I used to play a long time. Like when Battletech kind of first came out, I played when I was younger, like in high school. I'm like turning 50 this year, so that gives you a bit of a rank. So over 30 years ago. And I used to play with just some dudes at school. But then, the whole time in Vancouver, because I'd been out in Vancouver for about a little over 15 years, and I never really touched Battletech the whole time I was out there.
Oh, wow.
I didn't do much tabletop gaming.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have to have the right group, and if you don't meet the people, then what do you do?
Yeah, well, I was more like, I turned more into like a bit more of a partier than I was a gamer at that point. I was working at an Irish bar, attending a lot of parties and all that crap.
Yeah, I remember those days. It's a long time ago for me too. I'm not quite near 50, but yeah, those were the days. Waitressing and stuff, doing that kind of stuff, parties.
Oh yeah, attending an Irish pub is definitely interesting.
Oh, that would have been so much fun.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy fun. Yeah.
You have the experience with Battletech, and then you had that big time off.
And then I just got back into it because Brett made me join the league. My first season back in the league, like last season, was like my first time I'd played in years, which is probably why a lot of people were like, why is this dude like, the top of the league by week 8? A lot of that is just because clan, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, the clan,
The early game is very powerful.
Yes, I thought of running clan this year, and I think I could have, where I was picking, but I was like, well, I don't know. I don't really, other than their power, right? I know their weapons are better. I don't know anything about them yet. I haven't gotten anywhere into that in the history, so I was like, gonna leave that. We're not gonna try clan.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, maybe next year.
People still talk about Grumpy Bear, so it makes me laugh a little bit.
Well, there you go. Hey, Grumpy Bear. I'll never not talk about Grumpy Bear. You can't go wrong with Grumpy Bear.
Quite the Kodiak.
Yes. But you play a lot of other tabletop games?
I used to play 40K, but I haven't really played that in a while either. I have like an Eldar army, but I haven't touched that in like about 15 years or so. I'd still collect, but man, I just have a bunch of boxes that are like unpainted.
Yeah, that's what I'm working through, is painting Lee's mechs. Our mechs, not Lee's mechs, our mechs.
Yep.
Slowly. One day they'll all be painted. So what else other than Battletech or like some tabletop game?
Do a lot of video game play. It's definitely more my wheelhouse. I got a bunch of people that come into my channel to play games.
Well, it's kind of nice when you can just sit back in your pajamas and relax, and you don't have to actually go anywhere or entertain anybody face to face.
I enjoy the socialness of going to Battletech.
I definitely do too. It's nice to be able to go in, and it feels weird. Like this year, I had 3 weeks that I didn't have to play at the Den, which was really weird not being there.
Yeah, I bet. So, I mean, it takes a lot of our year out, right? We spend a lot of time there.
We do, but I also look at it like I compare it to sports, and I'm like, yeah, well, I used to, like when I curled from like October till March, April, and then I curl during the summertime, so it's really all depends what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's good time. So I got to meet like tons of people and stuff.
I'm gonna pull a rabbit out of the hat and bring up the topic of your next game.
Oh, God, Lee. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. I've never played Lee, and as everyone knows from the last podcast, I crave his adulation. I need to prove to him how amazing everything is. If I don't have him tell me, like, praise me, my life's over.
You know what? You can be that, because I definitely don't need it. No, I'm joking. I love my husband.
But no, it'll be fun. I've never had a chance to play him, and he's one of the OGs. So.
That's the cool thing. He's talked about playing you too, and he's like, oh, I can't wait to hear what Darren has to say. And I'm like, you guys will have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be handy having someone that knows all the rules in the top of their head right there, so I don't have to ask.
Yes, definitely has that. And sometimes it's annoying. It's like, oh my god. Why? Why do you know it all?
It'd be funny because we both have the same Banshee kind of going up against each other. I mean, they're modified, but like a Banshee on Banshee fight will be pretty funny.
Yeah, when you have the same mech and you're going in, and even if the little tweak that you might have done, if you guys haven't done the same thing, just seeing how differently they play is cool.
Yeah, mine's all like faction tech. Actually, I haven't looked at what he's done this yet. I'm notoriously bad for like looking ahead at people's stuff. I'm also notoriously bad for remembering to do my skill spins. So Lee is going to get a bit of a handicap. I got waylaid with some things and forgot to put mine in, so I missed out on a gunnery skill.
That's okay. I did too. Yeah, and we talked about it. I even had things picked out after the last game.
Yeah, me too. I talked to Brett about it, and I just totally forgot. And then I told Brett, I'm like, I'm just giving Lee a handicap.
There you go. You're giving him, helping him out, right?
Yeah. I don't think he needs the help, so...
No, even though I do like to say he's only beat me once, maybe twice, in our 16 years of playing each other.
Yeah. I know he's a solid tactician and stuff like that, and
he is.
I think he also has kind of a luck quotient, because sometimes his luck sounds like it pops right off. Yeah.
Yes.
So if I get an instance of that, I'll probably be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but sometimes he comes in and he has nothing up his ass, so...
Yeah, I think it sounds like he's got a really hot and cold kind of luck pattern.
Yes, he absolutely does. So I pulled up his lance, the Hatchetman 6M, nothing, as of what I'm looking at here.
Hatchetman, damn.
Yeah. He finally has it back with the hatchet, because when I pulled it out last week to paint, or before the last game, there was no hatchet on it. Chris had to fix it. So he has that back. He has an Avatar O Prime. He's got the Omni-Mech. He's got alternate configuration, which is the H, and it has anticipation on it. Then his Banshee has engineering, and then target lock. And his Marauder 2 has faction tech.
There you go.
So
the Marauder 2 will probably be the nasty way, I guess. But I mean, having a Marauder 2 and a Banshee is pretty nasty.
Yeah, I have a Marauder too. I like my Marauder.
Yeah, my biggest boy is my Banshee, but I mean, my backup on that is a gunslinger, and he's not that much of a slouch if he can hit.
Looking forward to the rest of the season. Any of your other opponents that you are really looking forward to playing, or that you're, oh my god, I'm gonna get my ass kicked, kind of?
The season's not super crazy, not like it was for me last season, where I suddenly had all the super veteran players stomp me into the turf. But I get Cal, I think, in like my week 10, and that's like a rematch because I beat him last season. I think he's itching for revenge because I got lucky hits on his one Fafnir at that time, and I'm sure he wants to get some revenge on me. That'll be good. And I think I played Todd's clans too, so I'm curious to see how that is, because I'm the one talking into trying clans this season, so I'm kind of reaping what I sowed there.
Let's see, when did he go? So Jay, week 9.
Yeah, and I've never played him before, so that will be... I like to play people like I've never played before.
Jay's fun to play. I played him here at our house last year. He's pretty good. I like playing the experienced guys because I learn and just talking about the strategy while we're playing and stuff.
I got to play a few good players already, like JP stomped me into the turf. After his loss, all of his good energy came back, and on top of fighting a very competent player with clan technology, he had extreme luck on his side too, so I just sat there waiting to get decimated in it. I think he totally wiped me out in about 8 rounds.
Well, hey, you made it more than some people make against you.
Yeah. So, then, like I said, Audrey was actually super nice.
Yeah.
That was very, very close that game.
Yeah, I like the close games. I hate the games where you go in and you get your butt walloped and you're like, oh, well, I'm so glad I got out of bed for this one.
Well, on the nice side, JP took me home early. I didn't have to
there you
wait
go.
for a couple hours.
Well, there you go. That's so nice. I love JP.
Yeah, so it was all right. And I got to joke around with him about a few things like that, because I was like, you're never allowed to complain to me about your luck again. He's like, okay, fair. And then I also razzed about taking combat wisdom, because at the beginning of the season I said, oh man, you should get combat wisdom on that. And he was like, why? It's such a useless skill. And then later I'm like, I heard you bought it, You told me it was a useless skill, and he's like, yeah, well. I'm like, yeah, when like half your BV is tied up in one mech, you definitely want to ensure its survival.
Yes.
I think he decided that after Alex popped his head, and then his old lance crumbled for the one loss he took. Yeah.
Yeah, when you have everything in that one boat, and that boat goes down, your hoop.
Yeah. So it's just an insurance policy. I think any clan or assault probably should really take that.
Yeah, that's something to consider. Like if you're not clan, normally you're pretty good across the board. Like it's pretty even, right? Like yeah, you have some BV difference.
Well, Rumpy was over 3,000 BV, right? So
that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah, I don't have any. I've never had mechs that weigh anywhere near that much, but I've never played clan either. So
yeah, so it was crazy, for sure.
Yeah, I love to hear the stories about the big boys playing each other because I'm like, oh yeah, oh no.
It's funny. I don't consider myself one of the big boys,
which is hilarious because so many of us do. We're like, yeah, Darren, yep, he knows what he's doing.
Do I though?
Well, maybe it's a horseshoe.
I mean, the funny thing I laugh at is like when I choose alliance every season, I just come up with a theme and then I just throw shit at it. Like I don't like put a lot of thought into it so much. Like this season was like I want to try a gunslinger and then I just built everything around that. Last season it was like I want a Kodiak and then I just built everything around it.
Well, and you know what? I do that because I want my quads.
Yeah. I think some of the more veteran people just definitely don't like super effort.
Oh, some of them build lance after lance after lance. And I'm like, oh my god. Nope. I'll take it off of what I can see when I'm playing, when I get my faction. Yeah. But that's the knowledge. That's the knowledge of the game, right? Lee could do that too. He doesn't, but he could definitely do that too, right?
Yeah, oh for sure.
Thank you for joining me tonight.
Yeah, no problem. It's always fun to chat with people.
Yeah, it's always fun. This interview will definitely be going out this week with the main podcast.
Thanks a lot, Heather, for bringing that great interview with Darren, and I'm looking forward to playing him this week. This will lead us into week 7 matches, and we have some really good ones to talk about this week. Game number 1, and we're starting with the bottom 16 teams. We have the clan Cobra Chickens, 0 wins, 5 losses, 1 tie. They're up against Odin's Chosen, with a single bye win, 5 losses, and 0 ties. Well, both these teams have been struggling this season. One of them's brand new with Odin's Chosen. And we have Clan Cobra Chicken, who just every year plays a really tough team. Like, they have great lance. They've done really good this year with skill spends. Their luck is terrible, and I think it's affecting their tactics. I think they're getting frustrated and kind of just walking into their enemy's fire. And walking is exaggeration as well. He could be doing all sorts of maneuvers, but I don't think his brain is quite on the game. That is going to make this very close. I still think Clan Cobra Chickens should win this game. Oh, no. I've realized I made a promise. I can't say he's going to win. Odin's Chosen is going to get their first tie. That's not a win.
Oh my god.
And it's going to be a 2-2.
Well, I kind of agree with you. I think Odin's Chosen is going to get their first win with a 1-0 victory.
I don't know. Some of my games last week, when I thought it was going to be a high score, ended up being an extremely low score.
I've been calling low scores for you for all season, Laura.
Uh-huh.
You got to get more turns in. You can't get a high-scoring game without more turns, right? So, unless something really freaky happens.
Oh, I know. I've had those games too.
Yep, we've had a couple of games that were 5 turns. No,
5
sorry,
turns,
we've had
4-0
a game,
victories.
5 turns, and it's a 4-0, so obviously freaky things can happen. But yeah, I don't see that happening in this game.
No, I don't think it's going to be super high scoring. I do think it's Odin's Chosen, though. And I have to agree with Brett. I think it's a 1-0.
Game number 2, the League of Robots with 2 wins, 3 losses, and a tie, going up against the Wolfpack with 1 win, 4 losses, and 1 tie. And I know ever since the second half of the season games have been announced, this is one that Alex was looking forward to. So he's going to be super excited for this. I think he's actually going to pull out a win if he decides that he's going to stay with his game plan, does what he thinks he's wanting to do, and just pushes hard. I think this could be a 3-2 Wolfpack victory.
Kind of got burned last week. I thought the Wolfpack was going to win. I think Alex is still kind of flailing around with his team, trying to get what he wants it to do. He's got to get that Night Star within 15 hexes and then kind of stay out there, using his Gauss rifles and his ERPPC to try to focus fire on a mech that he's working with. In that case, I think he could take League of Robots. But if he's not really on par with the way his teams should be working, I think the League of Robots will take him. So I'm going to say the League of Robots are going to win. Alex is learning his lessons, but it's taking him some time. It's going to be close. It's going to be 3-2.
He is also playing the only league in Lance that brought 2 mediums.
Oh, I'm not doubting that he can't win. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with his play or his Lance. I'm thinking he's struggling. He's flailing a bit. Because it's not just his 2 mediums that are causing him grief. I saw one match, he moved his Night Star within short range of enemy mechs, and that mech doesn't need to. It doesn't need to be that close. It's got the ammunition and the firepower to just sit back at that 14, 15 hexes and use the skills it has to take out mechs.
Yeah, I think doesn't quite have his head in the game. I think League of Robots is going to win. Ugh. And this time I'm agreeing with Lee. It'll be 3-2. Game number 3. Thumper's Revenge with 0 wins, 3 losses, and 3 ties. Going up against Lights Out with 1 win. Yay, Paul! 5 losses and 0 ties.
The plan is working.
I'm happy he got a win.
So are we.
We're all happy he got a win.
Now it's my turn. And I can't vote against myself. I'm gonna win. I don't think it's really gonna be high scoring. I hope for 3-2. I think it's actually gonna be 2-1.
Well, I think this game is going to go one of 2 ways. Either Thumper's Revenge is going to come out and get a 3-2 victory, not only getting a win, but a bigger score than normal. Or Lights Out is going to come out, make their C3 network work really well, and potentially pull like a 4-0 shutout. But I'm voting for the Bunnies. Thumper's Revenge, 3-2.
Both Brandon and Paul filled my ears with some regalia of Paul's game. He double clapped a mech in the head with his Griffin, like 2 hands slapped together to take the head off one mech, and his King Crab was clipping people with that autocannon 20, like the dual autocannon 20 rounds. I think Laura's Lance is better. I just think it is. I think it's a better Lance than Paul's. You just need to do what we've discussed and focus on one mech, take it down, focus on another mech, take it down, and you can win. Or at least get that 4th tie and really start setting some records in League.
Well, and Laura's battle plan isn't written in crayon.
Yeah, well, that too.
It's always written in crayon.
So, Paul has a plan. I see it. I don't understand it, but I see it. Laura has a plan. She just has to stick to it. I think Laura could win this game. It's absolutely possible. I am going to stay on this, and I'm going to say Laura is going to win. You're going to win. It's going to be 2-1. Because I think it's 2-1, especially if you stick to the plan. Game number 4, we have the Ansgar's Outlaws with 2 wins, 3 losses, and a tie. They're up against the 4th Praetorian Protectorate. 0 wins, 4 losses, 2 ties. Well, this is a little bit of, we're starting to see some teams that are in the uppers and teams in the lower, even in the lower 16 and upper 16. Ansgar's Outlaws obviously have the more successful lance of the 2 of them, but the 4th Praetorian Protectorate have a good lance. It is a Hamilton. I really want to see them do well. But, let's be honest, success obviously breeds more success. I think the Ansgar's Outlaws are going to win this one. It's going to be a 3-1. He's doing well. He's really playing solid. Praetorian Protectorate needs to, pick it up a bit.
I think you're probably right in your assessment, although I believe this is going to be a Ansgar's Outlaws 4-2 victory. I think they're going to get it enough turns that it's going to be predetermined by 2:30. The game's going to be over, and they're just going to be walking around the other table seeing how everybody else's games are going.
Yeah, both these teams have really good quick play.
I don't want to cop out and call my tie of the week this early. But this is a tough one. both teams. I played James. I think his team, his lance is strong. His dice just aren't doing it for him this year. I'm actually going to hope he wins. I'm going to go with the 4th Taurian Protectorate to win, and I think it's going to be a 3-2.
Oh, this is totally a game that I could be happy being wrong and having the Taurian Protectorate come out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're both great people, both great players. I just think Ansgar's success so far this season is going to tell.
Game number 5, Yogi's Jaegers with 2 wins, 2 ties, and 2 losses, going up against Laser Force with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. I think Will is going to have a really good game here. He's been playing well. He's been getting some good rounds in. He has a really strong grasp of how the game and the league plays. And I think with his clan tech, that's really going to lean in here for him. Laser Force has some plasma weapons in it, so don't count him out right from the hop. But I think we're going to see a Yogi's Jaegers 2-1 victory.
When I played Will earlier in the season, I got real lucky, took the head off his Daishi with an autocannon 10 shot for my Banshee. And that's what ended up winning me the game. I haven't faced Laser Force, but I've heard lots about his gameplay, and he's doing well. Will's fixed the problem. He took combat wisdom. He's not going to lose his Daishi from a lucky head hit, which is going to mean that absolutely terrifying machine's going to stay on the field for at least 1 round longer. I'm going to say it's going to be Yogi Jaegers, and it's going to be a 3-1. I think he's going to be a little bit more dominant this game.
Yogi Jaegers has a really interesting game. 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 ties. He's even Steven right across the board.
Including kills for and against.
I know, yeah. I think he's got a picnic basket hiding somewhere. I think he's going to get his 3rd win. Yogi's Jaegers, and it's going to be 3-2. Game number 6, we have the Elk Riders with 1 bye win, 3 losses and 2 ties, going against the Neon Grizzlies with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie. I think this game, safe bet, Neon Grizzlies. I think it's going to be... I think he's going to 4-0.
I'm going to agree with the bunny prediction here. I think Laura's hitting it right on the nose. Those Grizzlies with the Kodiak and the Timberwolf is doing amazing things. This is probably going to be another 4-1 victory as well.
I'm in agreement with who's going to win. I'm not in agreement with the score. Neon Grizzlies, that Mad Cat absolutely ripped Laura a new one with those tandem charge. And you can't, in any way, shape, or form, unless you deal with that Kodiak early, you're taking a whole bunch of damage every turn. I don't think the Elk Riders are ready for that level of violence. I just think there's not going to be enough gameplay in the time frame they have to get a 4-0. I think it's going to be a 3-0. Game number 7, we have the Black Wake. 2 wins, 4 losses, 0 ties. They are up against Cat's Nightingale Cavalry. 3 wins, 3 losses, 0 ties. Devin struggled last game. He had a bit of issues. Lost, but had a good game. Cat's Cavalry has a solid lance. His Blood Asp is one of the more violent mechs in League this season. I am going to say it's going to be very close. It's going to be a 4-2 close game, meaning that Cat's Cavalry has some mechs that are just barely limping off the board, but it's going to be 4-2 Cat's Cavalry.
That Cavalry Rifleman 2C is so hard to get rid of because it's a zombie. And as soon as it loses its arms, it's losing its ammo as well. So it's really not in any kind of danger of blowing itself up. You really have to stomp that thing into the ground. And because it sits at the back of the field and pesters away with those large pulses and ATMs, it's hard to get to. With that being said, I think the Black Wake has the ability to hammer this lance with his C3. I'm actually going to call for the Black Wake in a 3-2 victory in this one.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I actually think this one's going to be the tie this week.
4-4 tie?
No, I'm not that optimistic. I think it'll be 2-2.
I'm waiting to see the 4-4 tie. It hasn't come up yet.
I know.
Game number 8, the Blitzkrieg Jezebels, 3 wins, one of which is a bye, 2 losses and 1 tie, up against the Lyran Rangers, 0 wins, 5 losses and 1 tie. So Heather is a really good player. Carlo is an amazing person who has just some of the worst luck I've ever seen. I would love to be able to vote for the Lyran Rangers in this one. I think it's going to be a fun game. I don't think it's going to be super high scoring because I think they're going to sit there. They're going to have some good laughs. They're going to have some enjoyable times. And I think they'll probably get around 10 to 12 turns in. But I think it's going to be a Blitzkrieg Jezebels 2-1 victory.
I think they're both capable of way more rounds than that. Carlo and I had no problem getting lots of rounds in. Heather absolutely can play 10 to 20 rounds in the fight. So there's quite a wide scale there, but she plays against her opponent, right? If they're
I absolutely believe they could both do the 20-round game with no problem, but I think it's going to be a social event more than it's going to be a competitive game.
It could very well be. You're absolutely right. Lyran Rangers has had almost no luck. Like 0. That's why he's got no wins, right? He's got a tie. Heather's had wins against people that people weren't really sure she was going to beat. And then she's had a couple of losses where people thought she'd win. I'm not going to just keep voting for my wife because I think that, I'd like to sleep in my own bed every once in a while. I do think the Blitzkrieg Jezebels are going to win on merit. Heather just has to keep range, right? Clip the mechs that come into range, stay out of the range of those heavy gauze rifles. Lyran Rangers like to plant feet and park, camp out, and hit you with 20-point hits as soon as you get within 13 hexes. Stay out of those 13 hexes and you should have it. Blitzkrieg Jezebels will win this one, and it's going to be a 3-1. I think once things start falling apart, they'll fall apart pretty spectacularly.
If she actually listens to your advice, kind of like me, if I actually start listening to your advice, her game will go phenomenal. Heather has a tendency, when she's sitting across the table from someone who's an absolute joy to talk to, her and Carlo are going to talk. Talk more, play less. I do definitely agree they'll hit the 10, maybe 12 rounds for sure. Heather's going to win. I think it's going to be closer. I think it'll be a 3-2. Game number 9. Hank's Handies with 5 wins, 1 loss and 0 ties. Going up against the Dead Man's Hand. 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. Well, I voted for Lee to lose last week and he won. So maybe reverse psychology, if I vote for him to win, he'll lose?
I didn't just win. I put my Banshee at the top of the killer's corner. Hank's Handies better focus on somebody.
Yeah. He's looking forward to this game. Win or lose. Because maybe you'll start paying attention to him more.
No, after this game, I'm going to forget his name.
You already do that.
Sorry, Darren. I think Lee's going to win. I think it'll be a close 4-3.
Okay, so Hank's Handies banked their skills for the last 2 weeks coming into this match just so they could have a handicap against Lee. He definitely wants to play this game out, but he's looking for either an excuse as to why he loses or he's just coming in swinging. I actually kind of think Darren's a better player than Lee, but Lee is a little bit more lucky sometimes. So we'll see who's got the lucky dice. I'm actually going to vote for a 4-3 Handies victory.
Oh, I'm actually hurt. I had this whole thing I was going to go off on Hank's Handies. I'm finally paying attention to you. You're in my sights. And then you claim he's a better player than me? I'm actually hurt. Oh, I will.
Okay being proven wrong.
Oh, I will. Hank's Handies have a great lance. I read it. I looked at it. I've been studying it. You got my attention, Darren. You're finally up next. The Dead Man's Hands is going to walk all over you. I see your lance. I've got you beat in every regard except for your gunslinger, and your gunslinger had better be awake right from the beginning. I took personal vendetta specifically on my Marauder 2 to make sure that mech's being more effective in the lance to at least get a kill, and if it's your gunslinger I take out with him, I'll be a happy man. Dead Man's Hands are going to win. It's going to be a 4-1.
Them's fighting words.
Oh, absolutely. And then after that game, I'll forget who he is again, but we'll move on.
Yeah, the guy that's in the top 5 both seasons for like half the season.
I believe he's in the top 3 right now, but I'm going to pass him in that one. Game number 10, we have the Ghost Legion with 4 wins, one of which is a bye. 2 losses and 0 ties. They're up against the Paxton Pathfinders. 3 wins, 3 losses, 0 ties. Chris C, I said this earlier off recording. I am totally on the Chris C bandwagon. I also know how good of a player you are, Brett, and I'm not going to say that Chris is a better player than you. Wow. But I am going to say it's going to be a good game. That Cyclops is actually surprisingly effective. It's not the most powerful machine, but it seems to be really hard to kill. I am going to say you're going to win. It's going to be the Ghost Legions. It's going to be 3-2. I don't think you're going to get all 4 of them.
I can see where you're coming from. That Cyclops, everybody looks and goes, it's a Cyclops, whoop-de-doo. But as you said, it is super resilient and hard to kill. It's 90 tons of walking like sponge. He's doing really well. I am really, really happy with the Paxton's Pathfinder's performance this year. I think it's probably the best season so far going forward with 3 wins and 3 losses. He's batting 500. I think I've got a little bit better skills lined up for efficiency on my mechs. I'm totally going to be pushing in and trying to be like, melee master, here's my punches and my kicks, and all of that good jazz. So I think I'm going to go with a 4-1 Ghost Legion victory this time.
Chris is having a great season so far. I think I'm going to vote against Brett, go against the grain for this one. But I think Lee's right. I think it'll be a Paxton Pathfinders win with 3-2.
It's completely possible.
Oh,
it's a dice game.
If Paxton Pathfinders is taking it, it's probably going to be a 4-2 for them.
It all depends on what goes down, right? Like, it really does. He could take you, Brett. I just don't think he has skill on you.
I got a couple of Gauss rifles that could explode. I've got lots of ammo on all of my mechs.
And
Well,
if he
not
starts
lots,
clipping
but
you
all
with
of
the
them.
rack,
Yeah.
those 5-pointers cause critical. It's like an SRM, right? Well, you're looking for floaters, and they're 5-point floaters.
Game number 11, we have the Red Suns Irregulars with 5 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties, going up against House Psychotic Weasel with 2 wins, 1 loss, and 3 ties. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this might be House Psychotic Weasel's best season as well. So we've really had some teams stepping up this year and performing better than they have in the past. Again, really proud of these players, really enjoying seeing where their standings and how their games are coming out. I think that could be part of House Psychotic Weasels having 3 super rare mechs. The Grand Titan, the Albatross, and the Buccaneer. I don't think we've had any of those in any of our seasons so far up until this point. The Red Suns Irregulars is a really consistent team. I think this is going to be a 3-2 Red Suns victory, but I couldn't tell you what's going to be left on the field at the end of the day.
Well, so far, House Psychotic Weasel has beaten A-side champions, B-side champions, tied B-side champions. They are like kryptonite to the upper teams. Red Suns Irregulars, it's Gary. It's my favorite player in all of League until the Hamiltons show up. Chris finally let me vote how I feel. I am going to say the Red Suns Irregulars are going to win. They are on a tear. Like I said, he's A-side bound, whether he likes it or not, and he's going to be in the top. He's probably going to be semifinals A-side, if not finals A-side. I'm going to say it is going to be Red Suns Irregulars, and it's going to be a 4-2.
I'm really happy to see Gary playing this well, because I would love to see him get top A side, even if it's second place. I think Red Suns is going to win. I think Chris has a little more oomph. I think it'll be 4-3 for Gary. Game number 12, the Collection Agency with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie, going up against Riston's Rogues, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. I already used my tie. Oh well.
You could vote again for another tie.
No, I said last cast that I was going to 1 tie week, because ties are kind of cop-outs. It's no official winner, but no official loser. I think Riston's Rogues are the stronger of the team. Both teams are extremely strong. I played Cal. It was fun, but it wasn't. It's kind of brutal. But I think Jeff's going to take it, and I think it'll be a 4-2.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out how Riston's Rose could lose this. He's faced everything that Cal has. He's used it last season. From what the sounds of it, Cal's been extremely effective with his Einarch, and that messes everybody's day up. Right? The precision ammunition that the Riston's Rogues are using, it kind of gets nerfed. You get hit by a haywire pod. It's not quite as effective. Start becoming a little bit more mortal. Collection Agency also has good mechs with that C3I link, gives them range benefits. Riston's Rogues have played them with that exact same tech. So I am going to say Riston's Rogues are going to win. It's going to be a 3-2.
While Cal could get lucky and just pull in the right numbers at the right times, I think this is also going to be a Riston Rogues 3-2 victory. Look at that, Lee. I'm agreeing with you.
Woohoo!
I think this game could come down to whose dice are hot.
Yeah, it really could. It could flip either way.
Tactically, I think they're almost equal. Jeff has a ton more experience.
Yeah.
Right? We've talked about this about Cal before, though. He's a computer. He's been absorbing this game so well that he's... That's the best thing about the people who can really grasp this game. It just becomes meaningless. Like, the numbers are meaningless. It's just like, okay, cool. I'm going to do this, 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 this. Oh, these are my numbers. Cool. Roll the dice. Okay, I hit, but I didn't hit. I did my risk analysis before I moved. I'm good. Right? So, Jeff's got a fight on his hands. I just think he's going to win it due to experience. And then dice. Of course, dice. Game number 13. We have the Wendigos Night Stalkers. 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie. They're up against the Warthog's Revenge. 3 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie. Well, Brett, we had said earlier that we have not been giving Brandon enough credit. I think he's forcing us to give him credit the way he's been playing.
Yep.
He almost gave us our 4-4 tie last week. As well as has won some really tough games. Wendigos Night Stalkers, I know, are one of your favorite teams. I like them. They're a good team. They're solid. They're strong. They have strong lance. But Warthog's Revenge is on a bit of a mission. I think they both lost their last games, and I think the Warthog's Revenge is going to bounce back first. It's going to be the Warthog's Revenge, and I think it's going to be a 4-2.
Remember that Enforcer with the Ultra 20 that's been getting him all the kills now has steady hand too.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Get more double 20s.
Yeah. This one is a tough one to actually vote for. I like the Wendigo Night Stalkers. I like Jay. He's a fantastic player. Blast to play against last year. The Warthogs are a surprise. Sometimes his dice aren't always the greatest for him. But they're coming into this game with identical stats. I think the Wendigo Night Stalkers are just going to squeak out. I think it's going to be a 3-2.
All right, this is my tie game. I'm calling 3-3 for the tie on this one. However, if the Wendigos Night Stalkers drop that Enforcer earlier, I totally agree with what Lee says in a 4-2 victory, but I think the Enforcer is going to get to run most of the game, and it'll be the 3-3 tie game. Game number 14, Steel Shod Shamble, with 3 wins, one of which is a bye, 3 losses, and 0 ties, up against the Ice Creamers with 3 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. Now, both of these players are a couple of my 40K buddies. They've come over, they're playing this game for the most part. I don't want to call another tie. I think it could be a good game and it could go either way. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. We're definitely going to be 4-3. I'm having a real hard time trying to figure out which one I want to vote for. But I think I'm going to throw the ice cream on the ground and vote for the Steel Shod Shamble this time.
Ooh. All right, I am looking at the Steel Shod Shambles, and I've looked at the Ice Creamers. Yeah, like you said, the Steel Shod Shambles are survivability, right? They've got no mechs with XL engines. The biggest, weakest point is that Marauder 2's ammo in the left torso. If you can get into the left side of that mech, it is pretty much screwed. Because once it goes boom, 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 it's got no weapons. And the pilot's probably dead. The Devastator with Failsafe and Veteran, favorite weapon PPC. You just gotta hope that he rolls some snake eyes and Zerches his own pilot. Penetrator was a great mech. It's also a zombie. I think you have luck on your side. Kale's doing well, but I think, Aaron, you have a great lance and you know how to play. I'm going to say, even with the close score, you have more wins and ties. He has obviously more losses, so he is not doing quite as well as Brett's saying. I'm going to give it to the Ice Creamers, and I'm going to say it is going to be a 3-1.
As much as I would like to vote for the Ice Creamers to win, I actually think Steel Shod will win this match. But I agree with Lee, it'll be 3-1. Game number 15, Ward's Warwolves with 3 wins, 3 losses, and no ties, going up against Neutral Reavers with 5 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties.
Clan on clan violence.
Woo-hoo. I want to watch Little Elementals scrap it out 5-on-5.
That's not going to happen.
No.
JP would never give Todd that opportunity.
No. Todd.
Although I did hear him at last game day call him out and offer to fight with actual 30-50 clan Zeldjabrin in effect.
I heard that too. As entertaining as that would be, I don't think JP's going to go for it.
If Todd took him up on it, he would try it. I don't know if he would go the entire match, but I'm definitely sure he would try it.
Probably for just for giggles.
Well, it would be the best chance Todd has to win.
Yeah.
Because there's Direwolf H with 2 Gauss rifles and 2 heavy PPCs versus the Tomahawk C with all the pulses and ATMs. They are actually throwing pretty similar amounts of damage with accuracy on both of them. So the Daishi could beat the Tomahawk, right? Which would give Todd such a huge advantage. But I don't think they're going to do it.
I don't. No. I think JP's going to take it. I think it'll be a 4-2. I think JP will lose 2 more mechs.
Take a minute and think about it, Lee.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty positive Neutral Reavers is going to win. Like I said, I'm on the bandwagon. He's A-side champion. Just people that don't know it yet because you still have to roll dice. I think it's going to be Neutral Reavers. I think it's going to be 4-1. It really does. Todd played a great game against me, but he made a couple of little errors that he admitted afterwards. But admitting it afterwards is no good. You've still lost the game. JP rarely makes errors. And he's got a lance that does a phenomenally good job of making your errors cost you.
I'm in total agreement with Laura on this one. I think it's going to be neutral Reavers 4-2. The Werewolves have just too many large pulse lasers to not be able to get a second kill. They'll probably pick up the Elementals, and they'll probably end up picking up the Orion, but the rest of it is just going to run right over them.
Game number 16, last game of week 7. We have the Scions of Amaris. 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. Up against the team that was leading the league for 4 weeks. The First Alliance Grenadiers. 4 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties. Well, it's improved heavy gauze rifles versus a player who's an A-side champion. Lance balancing, I actually think the First Alliance Grenadiers have a more powerful lance. The Scions of Amaris have just overwhelming fuckery. Like, just the weapons are good. And you got a guy who's phenomenally good at Battletech. I would call it a tie, but I've already done it, and I am not going to call a second tie. I think this one is going to be... Oh, this is tight. It's going to be the First Alliance Grenadiers. I think their improved heavy gauze rifles are going to win the day. And it's going to be a 4-2 because I think a couple of mechs are going to go down by lucky shots. And that's going to put Jeff behind the 8 ball.
I agree with you that it's going to be a 4-2, but I think it's going to be a Scions of Amaris.
You think experience over firepower?
I think he'll get, like, that's why he's going to get 2 kills against him, because something is going to go wrong, and he's going to get something just blasted off the field by an improved heavy gauze rifle. But he's going to turn around and crit those heavy gauze rifles, take the Fafnir out, and then just use the rest of the game to grind the other 3 into the ground.
Yeah, I think Scions of Amaris are going to win. I think it'll be closer, though. I think it will be a 4-3.
All right, everybody. Well, we are closing out the night with what we've got on the books so far. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and look forward to meeting all of you, the next time. Good night.
Thanks for coming out and listening to our show, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Hope you have a wonderful time. Thank you again for listening to our show, subscribing. Bring all your friends. Get us up to 350 so that we can start doing other secret giveaways or prizes. We haven't hit anything this year, and I'd really like to give out a prize this year. If not, again, we appreciate all that you do, listening and sharing with your friends. Have a fantastic evening.
And for everybody that is in the league that's listening to this, keep an eye out for potluck ideas and a sign-up sheet for the Christmas potluck. We'll catch everybody on Game Day Sunday. Talk to you now.
Bye.
Bye!